Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Blackhand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Today, we got a humdinger, folks. Everybody's been asking me to do something on this Gangster's Paradise indictment. And I tell you what I'm going to do. This is the indictment, but I'm not going to talk about that. Anybody who knows anything about my channel knows I will not discuss unadjudicated cases. Number one, it's not fair to the defendant, right? The defendant's going to catch all this flack before they even go to trial, and they got enough coverage, right? Number two, it might interfere with some form of the prosecution, and I would never do that, right? I've never done that, not going to do it. I know about the case, but I'm not going to discuss it, right? So let's talk about a real indictment, because a lot of people can get an indictment, read an article, put out a little clip, and discuss it, right? A lot of content creators do that, and I don't want to do that. So one case I do know about, have a lot of knowledge about. Well, I know a lot about a few cases, right? But one of the first ones that really kicked it off, not the 1995 case, United States of America versus Alex Aguirre et al., which is the initial RICO case against the Mexican Mafia with Chuco and Wiretap and those guys. But this case here, a lot of people don't know about this case. Operation Knockout. That was in Hawaiian Gardens, right? It actually decimated the gang and sent over 200 people to prison for RICO, Vicar, drug violations, state violations, immigration violations. I mean, they went all out. So let's talk about what it takes to create an indictment, right? What it really is. So a lot of people have the concept that it's just, the cops pull you over, they find you with dope, and all of a sudden you're indicted. No, there's a lot of logistics that go into a federal indictment, and I don't profess to know all of them, right? I'm going to give you a thumbnail understanding of what I understand, right? In this case, the case originated after Zepi Orozco, Zepi from my gardens, shot Deputy Jerry Ortiz. Jerry Ortiz went to serve a warrant on him for, I think, attempted murder. He was a wanted individual in Hawaiian Gardens, and Zepi, tweaking as he was, shot Deputy Ortiz in the head. And it was kind of unprecedented, right, to kill cops. It was just unprecedented. I remember I was in Lancaster in level 4. I was in SMY, and I saw it on the news. I said, whoa, gangs are killing cops, right? It had happened a few times before, but this was different. This was different, right? The genesis of the investigation on June 25th, 2005, June 24th, 2005, LASD Deputy Jerry Ortiz was murdered by Barrio Hawaiian Gardens member Jose Orozco, a.k.a. Seppi, right? The gang members began to take pride in the murder and boast about it. There were some shrines that they confiscated during the raids and subsequent investigations erected to Seppi, right? There was graffiti. They began documenting the graffiti that was anti-law enforcement, such as HG kills cops, rest in piss Ortiz, 187 Ortiz, and then there was some patrol car graffiti, right? And this is kind of bold. I mean, this is really bold. After they whack a cop, they take out a cop. Then they start advertising it in the very same jurisdiction that officer was killed in, right? And I think that is what brought about the indictment. Just the killing of the cop alone, but the in-your-face attitude that the Hawaiian Gardens had about the murder. Now, it necessitates a criminal organization bringing themselves to the forefront of law enforcement to bring about a RICO investigation, right? And they did it. They did everything they could to get indicted. This is the way to get indicted, right? Be in your face, kill a cop. This is the way you want to decimate your neighborhood. And it decimated that neighborhood. Make no mistake about it. Hawaiian Gardens was dismantled by the United States government. And if it ever rises up again, it will be dismantled again. So for those who think that they're smarter than law enforcement, that they're going to use burn-off phones, that they're going to vet everybody in their organization, somebody's going to tell, right? Somebody's going to tell. And there's no mistake about that. There's always an informant. Somebody's always going to flip. Somebody always doesn't want to go to jail. Some woman doesn't want to lose her kids. Somebody just is mad and angry at somebody and wants to get revenge. Somebody is always going to be an informant. That's just the nature of the business. So when people get told on, it amazes me when they become offended, because that you just know you're going to get told on. No matter what you do or how discreet you are or how protective you are of your business, you're going to get told on. So this is the location where Seppi killed Deputy Ortiz. Condolences to his family as well. Before we even go any further, I'm sure his family still feels the pain. Deputy Orozco was a member of OSS, Operation Safe Streets, the gang unit there for the Sheriff's Department. But during this process, Deputy Orozco was standing adjacent to the door, and Seppi Orozco shot him to the crack of the door as the door was opening up. And he expired on the scene. This is the graffiti that they started tagging on the walls shortly after the death of Deputy Orozco. I mean, this is pretty outrageous and blatant to write in Lakewood Sheriff's jurisdiction, right? Because that's Lakewood Sheriff Station. Been there a few times myself. Yeah, I got arrested as a kid there and a couple other times. But this is, they even tagged on the car here. Look, they crossed out sheriffs, they put 187, HT kills cops, rest in piss, F pigs, 187 cops, rest in piss Ortiz. Additional graffiti that was in the neighborhood, Hawaiian Gardens, on the car windows, on the walls. And this is one of the shrines they found erected to Seppi, the individual who killed Deputy Orozco. They confiscated that. And believe me, they were documenting everything. Graffiti on the walls, everything. Everything was documented. Everything, every resource was put into this investigation. So it's not like a typical case, right? So we understand what an indictment is. Typical case, a cop pulls you over. Let's say he pulls you over. He finds weapons and drugs in your car. He seizes them, places them into evidence, arrests you, makes a recommendation to the district attorney's office for prosecution. The district attorney's office makes the determination whether there's enough evidence to hold you to answer, right? And you go to preliminary, and then you bond over to Superior Court, and you have your preliminary hearing, right? You go to arraignment, then you go to your preliminary hearing, and once you're bound over. That's how it works. That's when the DA comes in. And in the United States investigation and prosecution, the Department of Justice oversees every aspect of the investigation. There's an office called the Office of Executive Oversight, which governs the United States Attorney's Office for every specific region. In this instance, it's the Central District of California. That covers Los Angeles, Santa Ana, all these outlying areas, right? They have United States attorneys affixed to this immediately before one arrest is made. United States attorneys, federal prosecutors, are directing the investigators what they want to prove the existence of a RICO conspiracy in their case. So here you have the United States government mobilizing with the objective of indicting and dismantling a gang or an organization. In a typical state case, you're arrested, evidence is submitted, it's recommended for prosecution, you go to court, and you stand trial. It's that simple. In this case, United States attorneys painstakingly write out affidavits, search warrants, wiretap affidavits under Title III. It is really intense. This is really intense work. And imagine not just one or two United States attorneys, but a whole team of individuals working in the Justice Department, including multiple agencies, right? This is not just FBI or Lakewood Sheriffs. You're going to see who was involved in this. I'm going to run you some exclusive video here, and you're going to see the depth of this investigation and what it took, right? So again, I reiterate, for those people who think that, oh yeah, I can beat an indictment, no, you can't. No, you can't. When the feds come after you, they got you. That's basically how it works. You know, there is the occasion when some person, gets exonerated because they were not guilty, or they're acquitted because whatever reason, right? Whatever reason. That does happen. I'm not saying that it's impossible to beat an indictment, but I'm saying your odds are pretty slim. So this is Epi Orozco here. And understand, this is happening during this process of indictment, right? Of investigation. This is pre-indictment. Cops are hitting pads. OSS is out there sweeping the hood. A case is being built slowly but surely. They're establishing a conspiracy, right? With the objective, again, of dismantling Hawaiian Gardens. So here's the commencement of the investigation. The LA Field Division, DEA, Southern California Drug Task Force, HIDA Group 41, agreed to join the investigation with LASD. HIDA stands for High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, specialized kind of task force, right? They assigned investigators, OSS Detective Jeff Bosket, Mark Brooks, Brian House, Gary Salone, and Narcotics Detective Joe Villanueva as task force officers with the DEA under the direction of Ralph Ornelas and Sergeant Anthony Rivera. In fact, these are the guys that came and picked me up at Lancaster State Prison. They brought a DEA helicopter. They flew me out of there. It was Jeff Bosket that visited me in Lancaster and brought me some letters and asked me to go over them, told me about the impending indictment against Hawaiian Gardens, and I agreed to come down and provide communications analysis. I met all these other guys, particularly Lieutenant Ornelas. I think he became a commander, and he's since retired. And I think most of these guys are retired. Brant House is a really good guy. Gary Sloan used to play for Cincinnati Reds. Regular guys, just regular guys. Joe Villanueva, met that guy, and Sergeant Anthony Rivera, who didn't like me much. That guy just didn't like me. You meet those cops that don't like you, right? And I couldn't understand why. Well, you know what? I do understand why. I was an arrogant asshole. That's why. And he perceived that, and he was correct. He was correct. I mean, I would hope that he had, he never got a chance to see me change. He just saw me as that guy who thought he was all that, right? Because I did think that, and it would be ridiculous for me to say anything otherwise, right? But I met all these guys. That was the initial task force that was on it for OSS, Operation Safe Streets, and they kicked it off because their partner was executed. This was ire, this was anger, this was rage, that a gang had the audacity to go out and kill one of theirs. So they went out and said, okay, we're you want war, it's war. And law enforcement declared war on Hawaiian Gardens. That is what this is. That is what this is. And then September 2005, Lieutenant Ralph Ornelas and the FTOs met with the United States Attorney's Office, Narcotics Section, AUSA. That's Assistant United States Attorney Mike Lowe and Shannon Ryan are assigned to the case. I met Mike Lowe, pretty cool guy, laid back young guy. Met him a few times, had a couple of meetings with him, and discussed stuff, and that's what it was. So that narcotics section is also deft, organized crime enforcement, OSA deft, DEFT, drug something task force. I can't remember the acronym right now. U.S. Attorney's Office, they took the case. And they had weekly meetings. I would see my handler probably 2 times a week. And the goals of the investigation were this: utilize federal Title III wiretaps, which are broad. They're broad, right? But also very narrow. And you'll get to understand that in a second. They're going to target the leadership of Hawaiian Gardens. They're going to identify drug sources of supply, arrest, and prosecute. That's the ultimate goal. They want to tie Hawaiian Gardens to the Mexican Mafia, which wasn't difficult to do. Discover who is collecting taxes for the Mexican Mafia from Hawaiian Gardens. Gain evidence to complete successful RICO prosecution. Utilize local, state, federal narcotics, money laundering, and immigration laws for prosecution. And they did. Believe me, they were going all out. They were looking for every avenue to prosecute and dismantle the gang. And they did that. Indict high-ranking VHG members, drug suppliers, Mexican Mafia members, and associates. They did not accomplish that. They did not indict one Mexican Mafia member in this case. I think the position of the United States attorneys now is not to indict Mexican Mafia members that have substantial sentences because it's a waste of resources. And it just gives them more opportunity to come down to Los Angeles or wherever they're being indicted from, Orange County, San Diego, and function from county jails or federal detention centers, whereas serving their life sentences, they're housed under maximum security conditions. It's just not seen as feasible. Obtain long prison terms during prosecution, they did that. Dismantle HG, they did that. They accomplished 99% of what they wanted to do in this indictment. So you're seeing that this is just not a scattershot thing when it comes to an indictment. You know, a lot of people, like I said, they get these indictments, they see a news clip, and they jump on here and they create an episode on it, not really understanding what an indictment entails. And the years-long process. This was a 4-year investigation, 4 years that the United States government set out to tear down Hawaiian Gardens for what it did. So a lot goes into it. A lot, millions and millions and millions of dollars are expended on these prosecutions and investigations. So anybody who believes that they can withstand those kind of resources and that kind of determination by law enforcement is sorely mistaken. I mean, I'm just going to say it like it is, that either they're buffoons or they don't know the law. But when the United States government goes after somebody, when they make themselves visible to law enforcement and they seek out an indictment, it's the full weight and force of the Department of Justice coming down on them. And like I said, when they arrest you, you're done already. You could stick a fork in your thigh because you are done. You're finished, right? And here's the thing about indictments is they allow these people to remain on the streets, continuing to participate in their criminal activity, further gathering evidence with each controlled buy, with each surveillance, with each wiretap call. They are documenting each overt act they participate in. So in order to complete the conspiracy, one has to first conceive the crime, right? Then they have to further the conspiracy, because we could talk about, eliminating Joe Blow tomorrow all day long. Yeah, man, F that guy. He's no good. His breath stinks, blah, blah, blah. Let's eliminate him. Okay. And we do nothing about it. It's not a conspiracy to commit. But once we commit an overt act, me, you, Jim, and Joey commit an overt act in the furtherance of that conspiracy, then it creates a conspiracy. Whether we do it or never do it, we have just entered into a conspiracy to commit. Say that we discuss this conspiracy, and then I call Jimmy Joe to say, where is this guy at? That's an overt act, right? I have done something to further the conspiracy. That completes an overt act, right? And therein lies a conspiracy. We're all indictable then. This is what a Title III affidavit looks like, right? In order to obtain a wiretap, which is a Title III, under USC 18 USC 2518 8, you have to go to court. They can't just go up on lines. They can't go up on lines, and they can't eavesdrop on conversations unless there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. Like if you're talking in public and they overhear your conversation, that's introducible, right? But they can't go up on your lines. They can't do forensic examinations of your phones or your internet or your anything like that until they get a Title III. And this is what a Title III is. It's an affidavit that justifies their belief that criminal activity is occurring on your phone, so they can listen to your phone. And this is just one of 44 lines they went up on this case, right? There's 44 target telephones. Like when you get a call and you see TT1, TT7, TT19, it's target telephone number, right? Target telephone 1, right? Target telephone 7, target telephone 23. That's how many wires are in this case, right? In fact, in this case, there was over 500,000 intercepted calls. That's a lot of calls to listen to. That kept me busy. I didn't get all those calls. I didn't get not even a fraction of those calls, but 500,000 calls for a group of investigating agents to look into and to evaluate one gang, right? Like they were serious about taking this gang apart. This is the work that goes into this. And these are very detailed. They have to renew them every 30 days. This isn't a one affidavit in state court saying I want a wiretap and boom, it's done, right? This is because this again goes to OEO. It goes before a judge. A judge has to sign it. OEO has to approve it. DOJ has to write it. And it's a lot of work, right? To get a wire up, it's a lot of work. A lot of rules involved in this. So all target telephones and addresses, vehicles are placed in the LA Clear. LA Clear is kind of like an information warehouse. And all cases from Southern California go there, right? It's kind of a decompletion. Like, say, you're an agency in Palm Springs, and you want to investigate this guy who you pulled over with a pound of meth in the car, right? And you run his name. It's going to pop up if he's a target of this investigation in LA Clear because all his information's been entered there with the case agents' names, the agencies investigating him, and that agency will contact the investigating agencies. Say there's a IGI in Ironwood, California, or Centinela or Folsom, and he gets a letter from somebody and contacts them and says, "Hey, I got a letter from Joe Blow." Because Joe Blow's name's entered in LA Clear, that's going to be seized as evidence, right? It's kind of like a collection, decompletion, distribution center for information on targets. LA Clear is directly linked to WSIN, Western States Information Network, which is the information sharing network for law enforcement. In turn, this allows an abundance of information to be in place for law enforcement to tap into and allows investigators from this case to collect additional information on the targets. That's kind of like NGIC, National Gang Intelligence Center, right? Placed in D.C., governed by Congress, United States Congress, and it's run by multiple agencies where they collect information. Like there are serious organizations established by the United States government created specifically to dismantle gangs and domestic terrorism, right? Domestic terrorists, now with the new laws that were passed, that gangs are being declared terrorists, right? Particularly if they're involved with transnational criminal and terrorist organizations, such as cartels, and the Mexican Mafia can be linked to cartels, and gangs can be linked to cartels. So this information is distributed everywhere. And then the wiretaps. Obtained the first federal wiretap order in December 12, 2005. The very first one, hence the name of the operation, Operation Knockout. First target was George Flores, a.k.a. Boxer, so they called it Knockout, right? Intercepted a total of 33 phones and a total of 19 Title III orders. Excuse me, my number was off. I said 44, it was 33. Approximately 500,000 Title III intercepted communications throughout the investigation. I remembered that number. And here's one. Here's an old guy. Periquito, Periquito. Right? This is him. I'm just giving you a generic example of what a Title III is. That could be a bug. It could be a fob recorder. It could be a buttonhole cam. It could be anything under Title III, right? So here's Perico. I'm going to play a snippet of this because we're going to do a whole episode on this stuff, right? We got a bunch of stuff on Perico. We're going to do a whole episode, but I wanted to give you an idea of how they go about doing this, right? Utilizing embedded confidential informants. In this case, we knew that Perico was an embedded confidential informant and was working with law enforcement to bring down the Mexican Mafia. It was no different in Hawaiian Gardens, that they were utilizing confidential informants and wiretaps to record communications that pertain to the conspiracy. So let's run a bit of this. Let me advance it. We're just going to hear a few seconds of it because I don't want to. This is a cliffhanger for you. Cliffhanger, folks. So I want to run this on an episode because we got a ton of stuff. In fact, on Perico, we got so much stuff. We're going to do a whole series on him, and you're going to love it because the stuff I ran already was a simple debrief, and you loved it. You're going to really love what I'm going to play in the future. Here we go. We're going to run this audio on Perico, and this is from a bug. Again, this is a Title III. Perico has a keychain, kind of like this, with the key fob and a recorder in it, right? So imagine that. Somebody comes, throws their keys on the table, and you start talking. You're talking right into a recorder. This is the extent and the sophistication that the government has in investigating these things. Because that's not the only form of eavesdropping that they have, right? This is a bug, obviously covered under the Title III. And Perico is going to engage this guy in conversation about drug dealers.
You don't make your payment, boom. But with the computer, they'll shut it off and they'll try to tell you where the car's at. But as far as the leases, like, or someone can purchase one, $100 cars, will do the flip on it, whatever, with the numbers and all that. Like, and then, shit, they'll give you good money for it. Probably what's the numbers for the
So you get it. They're talking about taking cars, buying high-end cars, switching the bins and selling them, right? Conspiracy. All right. So that's one form of communication, a manner in which they monitor communication with embedded sources. And there's embedded sources everywhere. But I've shown you enough stuff on my channel in its brief existence for you to know that there are rats everywhere, that there are informants everywhere. There's people making deals. There's people that do this for a living, right? That's what they do. They go out and they do recorded conversations. They do controlled buys. They give up information. That's an operative, cooperating informant, right? My role was a little different. I'm not splitting hairs. I don't care what you call me. I really don't. But I was a CHS, a confidential human source. I did analysis and expert witness testimony when I was called to do so. But these guys go out and they record stuff. They do the buys. They buy dope. They get money and they turn it in, and that's all recorded, right? So this is one of the ways, and they monitor communications. So there's the technical investigations, right? There's poll cams utilized while Title IIIs are up. There's pen link. All subscribers and telephone numbers are downloaded for easy reference. There's trap trace. Pens were utilized to assist with the identification of future targets and telephones. Tap trace utilized to identify targets' locations and assist in prevention of possible murder of a target's girlfriend. The tap traces, trap traces, they can find out exactly where you are. They know exactly where you're at, right? That's not unknown to the criminal underworld. So I get it that there's probably some blue liners out there. They're saying, hey, you're giving away the secrets. No. This is common information that's already disclosed in discovery in multiple RICO cases. So rest easy, you guys. I'm not giving away secrets. I'm not giving away law enforcement secrets. All this stuff is common knowledge. It's out there. I'm just making it clear, right? So this is what a poll cam is. And you may remember this from Operation Roman Empire, right? This is the Popeye Roman empire right here. This is part of his compound. This is where all the juntas took place, the meetings. In fact, this is the back area where everybody came to park. That's Viana's Hummer right there, Viana Roman. And a poll cam is a nondescript, very small camera that's placed way up on a telephone pole. So maybe one of these days you see a guy up on a telephone pole. He's not just a telephone pole worker guy. He's a cop putting a camera there. And this is what happened here, right? These are used these have been used in a variety of investigations. and very effective. I'm just giving you an example of what's used. These are the type of tools that law enforcement used. So again, you're the smartest guy in the world. You have a double doctorate. You're a graduate from MIT, and you're a criminal. And you think you can beat the full weight and power of the United States government once it sets out to investigate criminal activity? I think, again, you're sorely mistaken. So I'm hoping this is some form of dissuader for the people who are in it or consider doing it. Like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want to go do the rest of my life under RICO or Vicar. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison for this. For what? For what? I mean, most participants are not ballers. That's the reality. Most participants don't get paid. Even the secretaries, maybe they get their phone bill paid, right? Maybe they get a little juice, but that's it. Look at Sky Virgin, right? 13 years and didn't get anything. Oh, she's got a little store now, and she got her BBL and everything else taken care of by Wizard. But that's a pretty sorry pay, right, for 13 years, right? And ultimately, people who participate in this go down. And repeat offenders get washed up. I'm talking all day. You're never going to breathe free air again. And for those who didn't learn their lesson the first time, second time you will. You're going to mind somebody. Believe me. Because when they sentence you, there ain't no comeback from that. There is no comeback from that life sentence. There really isn't. So the technical investigations delved into the internet. Like, they identified various internet web pages utilized by VHD. This is back when MySpace was popping, right? And they used Title III for that. MySpace court orders sought to identify criminal activity, various photos. People throwing up gang signs. Everything you do is documented, and it's utilized in these cases. Even your tagging. And there's further technical investigations, like Los Angeles County Jail calls were monitored regularly for members in custody. Visitation was recorded. LA County Jail written correspondence was seized. And they have a system there called ITMS, Inmate Telephone Monitoring System. And there are millions of calls that go out of that place. Literally. The county jail holds like 39,000 people, right? And imagine each one of them making a phone call every day. And they're immediately stored in the system called ITMS, right? I would get thousands of those calls, and I would be asked, like, oh, monitor these calls or find so-and-so's voice. And they do voice exemplars, too. I have voice exemplars. I knew most of the people participating. If I didn't, I'd learn them. And this is the kind of system that picks up communications in county jails and prisons, right? All prisons, all county jails have them. A lot of them use AI now to recognize certain words, phrases, and automatically store those recorded communications. So a lot went into this investigation. This is just one indictment, right? Well, actually, it's 210 indictments, one investigation. That spun off into multiple investigations. It didn't stop here, folks. And there were some proactive investigation techniques. They conducted street buys of narcotics utilizing confidential, reliable informants, handled BHT cases on a street level using street crimes to write state search warrants, to gain access into homes to gather seizures, and future evidence to be utilized in federal prosecution. So they would go, they would do a warrant, they'd hit the place, get evidence, let you go about your business. Oh, they didn't have anything on me. No, they had you already. They had you when they hit your house and they'd see the evidence. Then they sought probation, parole compliance searches to gather more evidence in seizures, which they did. They utilized Hobb warrants for seizures derived from Title III. Like, these guys went all out. And all investigations are like this, right? They're all templated from the same design. It's like scorched earth. We're going to use all our resources to go after a specific gang. They're no longer this large because it's logistically very difficult for United States Attorney's Office to handle large cases like this. And here's another technique they use. It's called aerial surveillance. Just think of you in your little $20,000, $40,000 car going to drop off something, and a confidential, reliable informant has tipped them off that you're going to drop it off. And you in your $40,000 car think you're cool. You did counter surveillance techniques. You left your phone at home. You did everything right. But they have a $5 million helicopter up there or a $7 million plane with high-tech, high-resolution video. This is actually from Efrain Diaz's brother's case, right? He was apprehended trying to transport some meth. Let me run this now just to give you a snippet of what they do. The target vehicle is going to pull up here, right here. There was no audio in that video, so don't worry about that. But that's the kind of resources that the federal government has when they're investigating with the intent to bring about RICO or Vicar or any of the other federal charges they want to bring. So Operation Knockout spun off to Operation Pulverize. They identified individuals in telephone links, and these are some of the individuals that they identified. I knew this guy right here. This is Gabriel Reyes. I actually testified in his state trial. I don't know where his whereabouts are at now, what his status is. I know his brother Bebo got made, and he became a carnal. And I know Bebo as well from Hawaiian Gardens. But that was their link to the Mexican Mafia, to the Reyes family. And I'm going to show you another flowchart here in a second. This is just one phone, Target Telephone 17, right? And all these people called it, right? As a result of these people calling that number, they went into the good old mix right there, right? So you'll see the legend here. Indictable targets on more than one chart. Indictable gang members. Indictable targets. Potential indictable targets. Targets with possible gun charges. Targets with gang affiliation. So this individual, Midget, was caught on Target Telephone 17. That's Oscar Alcala. John Sotela. Carmelas. His name is Silly. He was on 6 pertinent calls, right? This guy was on 17 of them. There's one person right here who is Antoinette Garcia, was on one call. She was on one call only, and she talked about jumping somebody into Hawaiian Gardens. And she was indicted for that, right? There's all these individuals from things as little as $40 in tax money. Yeah, I got that 40 for so-and-so. Or, yeah, you owe $40 this week. That's it. That's it. You get on a call and you do something in furtherance of the conspiracy, like this. Hawaiian Gardens is a gang conspiracy. And you further that conspiracy by talking on a recorded line or participating in a crime that's documented from these agencies, and you are going to get indicted. I wanted to show this example here. The girl that, this woman here, she did one phone call and got indicted. These are the links to the Mexican Mafia that they initially came out with, right? First was Topo Gaxiola. He used to run with Negro Villalba. He was never a carnal. He's a camarada. And this Popeye from White Fence, he ended up getting washed up. Then Artie Guzman from King Cobras. He had some communication with Hawaiian Gardens, but never ran it. It was me and Daryl Baca who were attempting to organize Hawaiian Gardens back in the day from the Bay, because both Bebo and his brother Ray were housed in our pod. So Bebo actually came up to us. This is Bebo right here. This is a young-looking Bebo before the drink and the heroin tore him up. That's Daryl Baca, young Daryl Baca as well. I remember these are from 2004, 2003 pictures. These two individuals right here. This was the link of Hawaiian Gardens to the Mexican Mafia, because we were talking with Bebo specifically and Ray about organizing. Ray was supposed to parole, and we talked to him about organizing Hawaiian Gardens and collecting taxes for us, that they would have direct Mexican Mafia representation. We had the conversation a number of times. So that link was true. This part here was true, right here. This 3 right here. And Alejandro Lechuga. This is Hondo, from one of the founding members of the organization, who's out there living in Hawaiian Gardens somewhere, has businesses there with his sister, but he's low-key. He's retired. I mean, if there is a retirement plan for the organization, that's him. He could not be tied to this indictment. It was investigated, but he was participating in no criminal activity, not to their knowledge, right? Then there's Badger. This individual Badger here was made in the feds, and his membership is kind of in question, right? He put the black hand. He was told to cover it up. He was sat down. One of the guys that I believe Rube Soto made. Rube was horrible for making guys anywhere he went. Oh, yeah, your shoes are shiny. Yeah, I like you. I'm going to make you a carnal. And that's the way it went. That's the way it went with Rube, right? But Badger ran into some controversy. All these other guys, I never heard of them. Never heard of them before, but I knew these other guys. And this was their link to the Mexican Mafia and how they proved that out in court. Some of the stuff they seized in the continuous seizures, the search warrants, the wall stops, the T stops, the traffic stops, right? Some of the weapons they found. This individual was a meth cook. He had his little portable meth lab. His name is Gomez, I believe. In this seizure, they seized 5 pounds of meth found in a washing machine. Weapons they seized throughout the course of the investigation. Evidence of other crimes contained through wiretap intercepts. One was the kidnapping of a HG gang member, Sergio Reyes, by the name of Diablo. His own homeboys kidnapped him. Murder of Eastside Paramount gangster and the paralyzing of his girlfriend from a rival gang, Brown Nation. In-house shooting of a VHG member over narcotic sales. Passing of weapons, a fully loaded MAC-10. Investigative statistics during that time. There were 381 search warrant locations, 42 probation and parole search locations, 33 telephones intercepted that had wires on them. There were 210 federal grand jury indictments, 131 drug indictments, 57 RICO indictments, 14 ICE indictments, 8 ATF indictments, 300 HG gang injunctions served, 140 District Attorney of Los Angeles convictions from the hardcore unit, and over 500 VHG gang cases handled with 250 HG filings. And continuation of those statistics, 183 weapons were seized, approximately $1 million in cash, 33 pounds of meth, 11 pounds of marijuana, 8 ounces of powder cocaine, 8 ounces of rock cocaine, 7 ounces of heroin, 1 meth lab. That's the meth lab I showed you. Takedown logistics. The 210 indictments were separated into 2 separate takedowns to avoid overflow in court and custody. Each location had a representative from each agency involved in the investigation. Approximately 1,400 law enforcement officers reported to the CP, the command post. There were 15 SWAT teams utilized, including 3 standby teams for rapid response. Narcotic search dogs and ATF gun dogs were called in from 3 counties. 3 active helicopters and a fixed-wing aircraft were in the air. 5 standby teams for fugitive follow-ups and apprehensions. Like if anybody bolted, they were ready. Like they brought in an army into Huangarns, a little hood, right there next to Artesia, adjacent to La Palma, and they brought an army in there. They brought an army. They came to do war. They waged war on this gang. And so, again, I'm going to reiterate this multiple times. If you think you're smarter than the United States government and law enforcement and you could outwit them and somehow do your thing without getting indicted, if you're involved now and you're seeing this and you still think that you can get away with it, think differently. Think again, bro. You cannot get away with this. Whether it's women or men or if you're incarcerated, if you're free, this is what you're going to face. You're going to face something like this. Because the federal government does not sleep. It has years to do this, and they're patient. Let me tell you this. When it comes to a federal investigation, you're going to give it to them. When it comes to a federal investigation, you're going to give them the evidence they need. I don't care how precautious you are. You're going to say something on the phone. You're going to sell to somebody. You're going to talk to an informant. You're going to slip up. You're going to do something wrong, and they're waiting. They have all the resources, like millions and millions, just for this. Millions and millions and millions of dollars to go after you. And they will utilize that money just to prosecute you, just to make the community safer. So here's what got me is they got the National Guard involved. They got a base and they created a command post there. That's serious juice, right? Like, hey, I need the National Guard to provide me with a command post. and 2,000 people go over there and say, okay, we're going to take these guys down today. Let's plan out the logistics. A lot went into this. A lot goes into an indictment. So you saw that thing the other day on Operation Gangster's Paradise. You saw a 2-minute clip on the news. A couple of people did what do they call reaction videos on it. But nobody takes you into an indictment like this, right? Nobody really knows unless they've been indicted, and then they really don't understand the logistics involved. All they know is they messed up, they sold to an undercover, or somebody told on them, or they got caught on wire. That's really all they know about it. Nobody's ever broken down an indictment like this, and I'm glad to do so today. I hope that it dissuades somebody from participating in this, right? I hope somebody says, you know what? I'm done. I don't want this smoke. I sure wouldn't want it. So here's what I want to show you, right? This is a video from a real takedown. This is actually the Hawaiian Gardens takedown. My editor is going to edit out some of the stuff that we don't think should be in there, but I'm going to run it in entirety. Here you go.
With Anthony Rivera. We're going to go ahead and get started here, and we can deal with that other issue. First of all, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. We want to again make this a short briefing. Everybody's been briefed up. We appreciate why you're here. We all understand that this was again a 3.5-year investigation that has culminated to today's day. This all starts federal arrest warrants for everybody that we're going after, and 73 of the 81 locations we're going to today have. Nice job.
Talk San Francisco, talk LA, talk Howdy Copy.
So I'm trying another hand roll. Yeah, and you gotta sit there with them.
And I'll test it before we leave here. And we're not on the same frequency. It's just kind of like a walkie-talkie mode. And so that way I can be on an all-access channel that can notify our dispatch that
Well, if they have any, if they have.
Somebody's over there. FBI, Warren, open the door. Okay. Okay, you. Okay, come. Get somebody in the window there. You in the doorway, slowly down your knees, hands on the back of your head. How many you got?
Keep your hands on the top of the couch. You right there. Put your hands on the top of the couch. There
All right,
you go.
how many you got?
We got two. There, we got two right now.
Okay, they got touch. Buffy, get ready. I'm in the mirror. Get ready.
Okay, we'll bring the car guy back first.
George Sam 11.
He's standing in the
We're
doorway.
code 4, location 11,
Back your way,
primary,
around the couch, towards
and
the door.
3 females and 1 other male. Georgetown 17 with code 4. 1015 with the primary and 2 others.
Well, are you number 9?
Yeah.
What's your apartment?
Number 7. Number 7.
Can you come to the door?
You got him?
Yes.
What's going on, man? High risk only. High risk only.
Okay. Walk back with me. 3 more adults. Hey, we got a guy coming right here.
3 more coming out, Dandy. Pass it down.
Okay.
We got 3 more coming out.
3 more.
Do you need bodies?
Hey, how many people? Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Okay. Hey. You get him to post on that window?
I'll get it.
Got one coming back.
Face the wall. Check the cuffs. High risk only. High risk only.
All right, come back. Come back. Anybody else in the house? Okay. Slowly come to the door. Show your hands first. Hands on top of your head. Turn away from the sound of my voice. All right, slowly back towards the door. Slowly. Keep your back towards me. Ma'am, stay where you are. Keep your hands where you
Okay, Dad, you call it over to him so I can see him.
Ma'am, you in the blue and white shirt. Come forward with your hands
Check the
up.
cuffs. High risk only.
Turn away from the sound of my voice. Turn away.
Okay, just screw it. Everything on you.
Come back.
Dad, you see anything?
Yeah.
Ma'am, who else is in the house?
Ma'am, come on,
Mom
come
or
on forward.
brothers?
Keep your hands up. Is that your son? Come on, we're coming on back, okay? We're gonna put you with some other people over here, all right?
Hands in the back of the head.
Yep, let's come this way.
Back towards me. Walk back.
All right. Come on forward. We'll get your mom up here to you in just a second, okay? Yeah, if you don't mind. The mom's getting ready to come out. Oh, is she? Yeah. The thing's disabled.
Oh, shit.
All right. It's all right.
Hallway straight, and then there's a hallway going off to work in a kitchen. Just so you know what you're.
I'm gonna open that door when you're ready, all right?
Okay, always clear.
All right, coming in.
Coming in.
You guys got one?
Coming in. Our box is up on top, bro. Whenever you're ready.
So, I need to go to some, just quickly identifying information and stuff like that. I'm not going to ask you anything about, what's going on. This is just kind of like just your name. What's your last name?
Always that over.
Okay, did I mention the audio?
Oh, sorry. Let's say that again.
Oh, we got the other one blocked open. I mean, you probably want to drive backwards.
Sure.
Yes. Right.
Hey, buddy.
All right, you got another
Yep, thank you.
On the op
they didn't even give us a
No,
number.
on the big op plan.
What's his name? We have an extra one of those lists. Raymond Cardini.
Guys speak Spanish? No, but...
So here's what happened. And then on Nathan Oliver, they found him in Sabrandi Court, which I thought was HG, but all the guys from your department said, no, that's Bellflower. I never even heard of Sabrandi Court. And then Rene Enriquez, they went in there. They found meth everywhere. Baggage all over there. Everyone was being punks, so they hooked everybody up, and they're bringing them all back here. So we do have our main target in custody. This was SWAT, FBI, SWAT, all three. This one they had to roll to a second one, and they got a consent to search. The parents signed it. They had Spanish speakers there. And it was the garage that we tried to get into. We had calls on the wire for a long time saying that the garage at this house, they had a bunch of Mexican Mafia paraphernalia, all kinds of letters going back, PO sheets and everything. So we've been trying to get in there for a while, but all we had was like it was hearsay. We couldn't get in. So now.
2 for HRT talk.
HRT talk from Charlie 03. Can you report the status of the findings from that 17402 Sabrandi Court?
I think we're just trying to keep it clean.
I'm going back to your Hey, nephew, thanks a lot. Hey, I got one complaint.
I know, me too.
There's a long step for
I can't keep asking, answering your question. I got that.
Okay, this is a one location where they're having a takedown briefing at the National Guard. These are the targets they're looking for. These are the people that have been apprehended. This is the command post. These are the kind of vehicles they're bringing to the command post. Like every agency that was involved bought a mobile command center. And ATF, FBI, DEA, you're talking everybody. United States Attorney's Office, Child Protective Services came, everybody came, and then of course there's always this, right? The press conference. You know, every politician in the world wants to get up at there and say their piece, right? I think this was done for the right reasons. This was done for the family of Jerry Ortiz. They got up there. I believe one of the family members was there, and spoke their piece. I could be mistaken on that, but these are all the weapons seized that day. That's a lot of weapons on the streets. In fact, crime, as a result of this investigation, crime had been reduced in Hawaiian Gardens by 62%, and there were no murders at the time for a period of 18 months. They cleaned out Hawaiian Gardens. Hawaiian Gardens was decimated, like I said. So that's the heart of what a takedown really is, a RICO indictment. Concerning the Mexican Mafia and gangs. That's really what it entails, right? And there's so much I'm glossing over, right? There's so much more to this than than even I understand. This is just what I do understand, right? So there's so much more that's entailed in investigating a gang and the Mexican Mafia and these conspiracies. So again, I think I've said it 4 or 5 times already. Nobody gets ahead of the United States government. You know, and if you do, you got lucky 1 time or 2 times or 4 times. On that 5th time or that 9th time or that 13th time, they're going to get you. And this is what's coming after you. So just a word to the wise. Step away while you can. You will face this wrath if you continue on it. With that said, folks, this does this piece. I hope you enjoy it. Peace out.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Boots.